Hi there viewers, I'm Nico GTR and welcome to Assetto Corsa Competizione. Today we're at Misano for round 4 of the BOA Championship Test Series. Unfortunately, due to work commitments, I was unable to participate in round 3 at Kyalami, so I'm definitely looking forward to that round in the season coming up. Now, compared to previous rounds, we're a little out of position. This track is new to me and I couldn't really get the car set up. I don't know what it was, it just didn't feel right. I used free practice and quali to try and get the car working. In the end, I scrapped the setup and went with the safe preset. I didn't set a representative quali time, so I'm starting 15th on the grid. It's a 1 hour race, but as before, I've cut out the quiet bits, leaving all the action. I've included a track guide mid-race as well, so stick around as I'll be showing all my brake markers, positioning and gear shifting. If you enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to catch future content. A quick check of our fuel and strategy then, and let's jump into the car.
Going double file.
Okay, it's a shorter formation to the green lights than normal, so not a lot of time to get heat into the brakes and tyres. Almost no time at all in fact as we make our way onto the grid. And we'll wait for the green lights.
Green light. Go, go, go.
Here we go then. We're right in the thick of it, so just going to take it easy and try and maintain space to the other cars.
Car on the right.
There's an incident to the right. God, that was close. Through turn 2. Another incident. Wow, that was close. And another. What a start to the race. I'm not sure what position we're in. We'll have to wait for it to all catch up. Into turn 4, and that's another position gained. Turn 6, and onto the straight. And a bit of order now. I say a straight, it's actually a very slight curve and classed as turn 7 of the circuit. Hard on the brakes for turn 8. Okay, so we've just advanced to the end of lap 1, and following all the incidents, a safety car has been called. All cars to maintain a slow and steady speed and catch up to the leader. No overtaking, and you may have noticed that after all those incidents, we gained a total of 7 positions. Happy days. Right, the field's pretty much all together now. We're all just trying to maintain temperatures in the tyres and brakes. One way to do this is by weaving, heating the tyres, but the most effective way is to accelerate and brake, heating the brakes, and that heat transfers to the tyres as well. Okay, so we're coming up to the start-finish straight now, and the end of the safety car period. It's now up to the leader to restart the race. When he goes, we all go. And it looks like he's gone. So then, back to it. We're in a position to earn some good points now. I reckon a top 5 could be on.
Slow car ahead.
Car getting a bit loose through turn 5. And onto the straight.
Well done, mate. Personal fastest lap.
Right, so we've advanced in the race. We're in P7 with 51.5 minutes to go. We have a pit window in this race. After 25 minutes in the race have gone, the 10-minute window will open. You need to complete a pit stop within this window and change your tyres during the stop to successfully complete the mandatory pit stop. Even if you've pitted already, you still need to stop and change tyres in the 10-minute pit window to avoid disqualification. And the car ahead has completely missed his brake marker. Lucky he didn't take out the car ahead of him. So that puts us up into P6. Just over 47 minutes left to go, and we've caught up to the car ahead. Quite a tricky section there, and it's caught him out. He looks to rejoin but sees me coming and allows me through.
Car on the left. Clear on the left.
And that, ladies and gents, is P5. Now we've got a group of cars ahead, including a podium position. Let's get it.
Well done, mate. This has been your crossovers.
Okay, so slightly further in the lap and we've managed to catch up reasonably quickly to the cars ahead. They're battling hard, so it's really slowing their lap times. Can we get a move on the inside? Nah, he shuts the door. Down the back straight then and towards the kinks of turns 11, 12 and 13. On the brakes at turn 12, braking in a straight line, and round 13 and to the hairpin. Last two turns of the lap then, and we're keeping with them, just waiting for that safe opportunity to get by.
Well done, mate.
On the brakes for turn 1 then. Turn 3 can be a tricky one, but we'll go through that later in the guide. There's contact up front and we see an opportunity to get through. We take both positions and move up into P3. We're in the podium positions, everybody, from P15 at the start. Right then, just over 25 minutes have gone and that means the pit window is now open. We're still in P3 and second place is not too far ahead. Gap is just over a second. As you can see, the mandatory pit graphic next to the relative times in the left corner is showing us red, which means that our current strategy is not a valid one. I'll bring up the MFD to make the adjustments. Currently, it's not set to change my tyres, which is a requirement of the mandatory pit stop, so I changed that and you can see the mandatory stop graphic has now changed to green, indicating that our strategy is now valid and that once we've pitted, we'll successfully complete the mandatory pit stop. No other adjustments required at this time. You may want to adjust the tyre pressures on the new set through the MFD for your pit stop. You want them in that sweet spot for maximum grip, in most cases between 27.5 and 28 psi. Okay, 30 minutes to go, let's jump into the pits. Make sure to practice your pit entries to avoid getting a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. You'll likely get a drive-through or a stop-go penalty if caught out. Maybe we can do the undercut, which is when the car behind pits first for fresh, grippier tyres to put in good laps whilst the car ahead is still on the old tyres. Once the car ahead eventually pits, you should be in a position to overtake them before they rejoin. Obviously, you need to be lapping quicker than the other car throughout this process for it to be successful. As you can see, we're losing positions, but we should get all these back when the other drivers make their pit stops.
Mandatory stop is now clear. Come on, go, go, go.
So pit stop complete, and now we have to make our way down the pit lane exit, which at Misano feels like a lifetime. We'll rejoin in P8 and with a nice gap in front to put in some good lap times. Just under 26 minutes to go,
There's a car exiting pit lane.
and with that message from our engineer, it's clear we're not going to steal that position. In fact, we may have even lost a little time. Right, 17.5 minutes to go. We're in P3 with a 2-second gap ahead. We'll go through a full lap now for my guide to a lap at Misano. Okay, to set up for turn 1, you want to be moving across to the left. My brake marker here is the 100 board. Start braking as you pass it and shift down to second gear. Cut the curb on the apex, stay in second gear up to turn 2, cut the curbs here and on throttle as early as you can. You can cut quite a large amount of curb here at turn 3, and as I mentioned earlier, it can be tricky to get the throttle down as the rear wants to spin out. Easing on the throttle or short shifting up to 4th will help here. Turn 4 then, a heavy braking zone. Brake marker here is the end of the red surface on the left side of the curb. Start braking right on it and shift down to 1st. Cut the curbs, short shift up to 2nd and cut the curbs through turn 5, keeping right to set up for turn 6. Shift up to 3rd and cut the curbs on the apex. Use all the track on the exit, but not too far. There are black and yellow curbs on the outside of the red and white ones. These are called sleeping policemen, I believe, and they will launch the car into the air. This straight is actually a curve and is classed as turn 7. So on to turn 8 then, another heavy braking zone. Brake marker here is the 100 board, braking just before it. Shift down to 1st gear, not too quickly though, as the gearbox will protect the engine from over revving by preventing the gear change if too soon. Hit the apex, again cutting the curb and use all the track on the exit, getting the power down as early as you can. Up to turns 9 and 10, which is like a kink into a hairpin. So brake marker here is actually the kink of turn 9. I start braking just before it as the red surface here begins to disappear behind the upright of the car here. Shift down to 1st and hit the apex of turn 10. You want a good exit here as the next section is a long straight, so on throttle as early as you can. Through the kink of turn 11 and hit the kink of turn 12. Straighten your wheels, pointing the car diagonally towards the outside of the track and begin braking. Braking in a straight line will keep the rear of the car where it should be. It's a fairly heavy braking zone, and if you start turning whilst braking hard, the car is going to get upset and likely spin. Then move back in to hit the apex of turn 13. Be ready to get on the brakes again as turn 14 comes up quickly. My brake marker here is the 50 board, braking just on it. Shift down into 1st gear and hit the apex. Use all the track on the exit. You can run over the curb slightly, keep 2 wheels within the white line though, and move across to the right for turn 15. No braking needed here, just a little lift off the throttle. Take the corner in 3rd gear, hitting that apex. Be cautious of the black and yellow sleeping policeman on the inside. Again, use all the track on the exit. Turn 16 then, and the final turn of the lap. Brake marker here is the 50 board. I brake just before it, so you could use the beginning of the white painted surface here. Hit the apex, cutting the curb, but again be cautious, more sleeping policemen on the inside. I take the corner in 2nd gear to get the car slowed enough not to run wide on exit. There are more sleeping policemen out there, not very good for the car. And then it's a run down to the line.
Gaining on the car ahead in sector 1. Well done, mate. That's not best.
So we're about a second to a second and a half behind the car in front. Let's try and close that gap. Okay, so we've advanced in the race a little, just under 12 minutes to go now. We're in P3 and the gap ahead is now under a second. The Lamborghini's really quick in a straight line. I'd be really surprised if we get a move done here. Through the kinks and on the brakes. Yep, not close enough this time. Around the last couple of turns then, and toward the next lap. Okay, so we've advanced into the lap a little, and we're beginning to really apply the pressure. Hit the apex. A short shift into 2nd there to control the wheel spin, and down the back straight. Through the kinks, brake in a straight line and back round for the next apex. On the brakes again and into 1st. We're right on him now, an overtake has got to be coming. On to the next lap then, into turn 1. We get a better run through turn 2, really closing up to the back of him. We have a look,
Slow car ahead.
and I think he may have been paying a bit too much attention to me rather than his brake marker there. Sometimes just a little pressure is all it takes. That's P2, ladies and gents. Okay, 1.5 minutes to go now as we make our way through the last sector.
Alright man, leader is on the final lap. Give it all you can.
This is going to be our final lap, we just need to bring it home. P1 is way ahead, and without a major incident we won't catch him. So around the final turn then, and down to the finish line.
Great job man, P2. Bring it back to the base.
Well, ladies and gents, a podium. I'm not going to lie, I was not expecting that from our starting position today, but I'll certainly take it. It got pretty messy around us, but we were able to keep out of trouble and capitalise on others' mistakes. So yeah, P2, really happy with that. Also, I'd really like to know your opinions on my track guides. Are they helpful? Have you improved since watching them? A thumbs up, a smiley, or a simple yes in the comments would be really appreciated. So that was the last race of the test series. Next time out will be for the first race of the season at Zolder. I do enjoy it there. Subscribe to the channel to catch that race and hit that like button if you've enjoyed today's video. Until next time, thanks everybody.